Behind the high stone walls of Philadelphia's Eastern State Penitentiary lies a chilling history of cruelty, isolation, and restless spirits. Once the most expensive prison in the world, it is now one of America's most haunted places. In this video, we uncover the dark past, paranormal claims, and terrifying encounters inside this Gothic fortress of fear. Eastern State Penitentiary was built in 1829, designed to be the world's first true penitentiary, a place where inmates would find spiritual redemption through isolation and silence. The prison's architecture resembled a medieval castle, with high fortress-like walls and a radial floor plan that allowed guards to monitor prisoners without being seen. Inside, each inmate was confined to a solitary cell, complete with a skylight called the Eye of God, meant to inspire repentance. But this solitude often led not to reflection, but to madness. Prisoners ate, slept, and lived entirely alone, with hoods placed over their heads when they left their cells, so they'd never see another human face. The belief was that silence would lead to rehabilitation, but instead, it left behind whispers that still echo through the halls today. As the prison grew overcrowded, the system collapsed. Solitary cells were doubled up, harsh punishments returned, and the penitentiary's reputation as a place of torment solidified. One of the most infamous inmates to walk Eastern State's halls was Al Capone. The mob boss served 8 months here in 1929. Not in a barren cell, but in a lavishly furnished room, complete with rugs, art, and a radio. But even Capone couldn't escape the prison's ghosts. He reportedly suffered from insomnia, haunted by the voice of James Clark, a man killed in the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Guards said Capone would wake up screaming in the night, pleading for Jimmy to leave him alone. He wasn't the only one tormented by unseen forces. Throughout the 1800s and 1900s, inmates reported hearing whispering voices, phantom footsteps, and ghostly apparitions. The punishment methods were equally disturbing. There was the iron gag, where inmates were chained by their tongue to their wrists, and the water bath, where they were soaked, chained outdoors, and left to freeze in the cold. One prisoner reportedly died during the iron gag procedure, his tongue ripped apart by the chains. By the early 20th century, the facility had become a relic, falling into disrepair and haunted by decades of trauma. It finally closed its doors in 1971. But some believe the souls of its inmates never left. Since its closure, Eastern State has become one of the most investigated paranormal locations in the United States. TV shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and Most Haunted have all documented eerie activity within its crumbling walls. Investigators have reported disembodied voices, sudden cold spots, and shadowy figures darting across abandoned hallways. One of the most active spots is cell block 12, where people hear loud whispers and laughter echoing through the empty space. Cell Block 4 has had sightings of ghostly figures peering out from the doorways. In Cell Block 6, shadowy forms are often seen pacing the length of the hallway. And Cell Block 15, which once housed death row inmates, is said to radiate the most intense energy, causing nausea, disorientation, and dread. Most intense energy, causing nausea, disorientation, and dread. Tour guides and visitors alike have heard unexplained cries, footsteps in locked sections, and even felt phantom touches on their shoulders. One former guard claimed he saw a glowing, white figure disappear into the wall behind a locked door. Even skeptics admit the atmosphere inside Eastern State feels off. It's a place where history clings to the air, heavy and unrelenting. Some of the most unsettling stories come from former employees and volunteers who had no reason to invent tales of terror. Another swore he saw a figure vanish into a solid stone wall during a routine inspection. Visitors have fainted on tours, overcome by an overwhelming sense of sadness or fear. In one particularly chilling account, a tourist captured a photo of what appeared to be a man in 1940s prison garb standing behind bars. Except no such person was present. Others report hearing someone breathing right behind them when no one else is there. Despite the fear, many are drawn to the penitentiary's annual Halloween event, Terror Behind the Walls. Each October, the site is transformed into one of the largest haunted house experiences in America. But even amid the scripted scares, people often report real encounters, cold touches, voices, and shadows not part of the show. It's hard to tell what's part of the performance and what might be lingering from the prison's past. Even skeptics find themselves wondering, are these just stories? Or are the spirits of Eastern State still serving time? Today, Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a haunting monument, part museum, part memorial, part mystery. Its decaying walls tell stories of innovation and cruelty, solitude and suffering, punishment, and the paranormal. Urban legends now swirl around the site, blending history with ghost stories passed from tour guides to visitors. Some say the spirits of the guilty remain, unable to escape the torment they once inflicted or endured. Others believe the building itself, designed to isolate minds and souls, acts as a trap for energy that never leaves. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying the eerie presence that clings to every corner of this crumbling fortress. Eastern State is more than a historical landmark. It's a reminder of a time when silence was mistaken for salvation. And perhaps the whispers in the dark aren't just echoes of the past, but warnings that some places are never truly empty.